So I'm going to be reviewing some of the interviews with Bollinger, and I guess I'll mention this silent witness. This is season 6, and I was delighted to see Benedict Cumberbatch in this. So, but it's not a great show, but it's it's something to watch.
It is.
Oh, I should take my juice before I start talking. Well, put it off even longer. I ate before you came, so this is really unappetizing for me today.
Let me see. I love it. There's so many of the pictures of people with their arms crossed, right?
Yeah.
Determinedly crossing their arms. Yeah, 3 of the 8 pictures have people with their arms crossed in it. That's impressive, They mean business.
Anyway. It's just the normal gross juice that I make. Yep. I went pretty heavy on the ginger today because I didn't have a lot of cabbage. Anyway, so last time I was talking about the interview with Dr. Boris Greenblatt, maybe? MD. And then James and I ended up talking about other stuff for a really long time. So I'll continue on with that, or get back to it, whatever. Fasting is popular in both US and Russia to rid cancer. Cancer cells don't like heat. Cancer cells suffer more when fasting than regular cells. Cancer cells die eventually. So they use sauna, and they do fast and the hypothermia. Russian fast use only water for 40 days. He doesn't like stressors like this, though, the doctor. He says if it's stressing your body out, it's harming you. So you have to do something that's somehow helpful but not stressing your body out at the same time. So
not stress the contrast, not yourself.
Yeah. So chaga mushroom he recommends. Hemlock is popular in Russia. He says whereas mistletoe is a popular European cancer remedy, the hemlock is popular in Russia. And they start with 1 drop, adding 1 drop a day. So that'd be the tincture. Up to 40 drops, and then back down to 1 drop. So they go up gradually, they come back down gradually. Chaga mushrooms, very popular in Russia. 15% of chaga is ash. Manganese activates enzymes taken from birch trees, the chaga mushroom is. Easy to prepare. Burdock root is used a lot. You need a comprehensive protocol to hit it from different directions. Always ask what are the side effects and what are the survival rates for my particular kind of cancer. Some will go for the 2 to 4% chance of survival with glioma because they don't know of the alternatives. So even if they're only given a 2% survival rate, they think, well, it's better than 0, but there's other options out there that are better than 2%. There was an interview with Charlene Bollinger, and I don't really know why. It was very boring. That's Ty's wife. R. Webster Kerr, the cancer tutor in Kansas City. He has a math degree and then an accounting degree. He was in the military. Germany, he got a prescription for pre-hypertension and used Dr. Lamb's protocol and came across natural treatments for cancer like carrot juice. He met someone who cured themselves of cancer with carrot juice. He kept coming across information, so he put together his own website, cancertutor.com. FDA's never bothered him since he doesn't sell anything. Password protected website because the search engines can't find you that way. So he says if there's anything that you want to put on that you're worried about, then put it password protected. So can direct people to password protected website this way, right? So you can have your regular website and then direct to a password protected, and it protects you a bit more, I guess. He has been told by 3 companies that he cannot mention their product name on his website since they don't want trouble with the FDA. Cancer is caused by microbes. Microbes are inside the cancer cells. In a normal cell, glucose enters, and there will be a 10-step chemical chain reaction to convert glucose to pyruvate. The pyruvate goes inside mitochondria, and 2 chemical reactions start. Citric acid cycle, Krebs, make ATP, and halfway through Krebs, the electron transport chain creates ATP. More than Krebs, actually. More ATP. Microbes, Helicobacter pylori intercepts glucose. So if you're losing glucose to Helicobacter pylori, there's less pyruvate. Kill microbes. Use a Trojan horse and microbe killer. Honey and curcumin, honey and ginger, honey and cinnamon. Honey is the Trojan horse, which gets those things through. Cancer cell loves sweets. Honey and aloe arborescens is another popular one, he says. It's a cousin of aloe vera. And there's 3 main Trojan horses, he says: DMSO, MSM, and honey. So you use something that kills the microbes. Colloidal silver chloride dioxide, LiPH, pronounced life, is commonly used with MSM. Carrot juice and organic purple grape juice. Wheatgrass juice actually kills cancer cells too. Cancer cells have a lot of glucose receptors. Maple syrup or molasses used with baking soda to cure cancer. A lot of people have had success with this. DMSO and low-dose chemo. DMSO opens cancer cell ports. DMSO used with vitamin C in a clinic setting. Take MSM. Some of it turns into DMSO to make chemo more effective. Hodgkin's responds to chemo, but most cancers don't respond well to chemo. Medical doctors say 50% response rate for 6 months, 50%, or when the 5-year cure rate might be 2.1%. So ask some questions. Modern medicine manipulates statistics. They'll use the word response. It doesn't mean a 5-year cure rate. They use terminology to make the treatment seem very successful when it actually isn't. Chemo would kill microbes, but not in a way that would help your cancer. Like, they were actually honest with James about your cancer. Like, they said it would, with the treatment they had, they would never be able to kill it completely. It was always there. They knew it was there. They knew that they didn't have the means to detect it. So he knows he has cancer right now. But technically he is in remission because they cannot detect it. It's at a low level. But they were always honest with him that way. So, I mean, some aren't, I guess. Chemo would kill microbes, but not in a way that helps your cancer. ICRF reference manual on his website: 20 treatments that target and kill cells, 25 treatments to kill the microbe, that's the cancer cells, 25 treatments to kill the microbes inside the cancer cells, then kill the microbes and parasites in the organs. Select, Budwig, or Photon protocol are expensive. The dirt cheap protocol that he has on his website is popular. And he has another one that's log cabin protocol. It eats only things that treat cancer, fight cancer, don't fuel it. You want to have too many greens, or he says you don't want to have too many greens, and that I can't understand why that would be. He says eat asparagus and broccoli. Medical doctors could lose license if they push natural treatments. DNA damage doesn't cause cancer. Microbes cause DNA damage if they get into the cell nucleus. Radiation could cause cancer by damaging the mechanism in the cell. pH determines size and shape of microbe. At higher number large, at lower number small, and I think he got that backwards, but I don't know. Because then he says cancer cell acidic, active and large microbes. Alkaline microbes become small, are in hibernation, and cannot be killed in that state. So they come out in 6 months and cancer comes back. Cesium chloride must be administered at correct rate or some of the microbes will hibernate. The war on cancer treatment is largely against vendors. Electromedicine, one guy treating with it went to prison, 120-year sentence, but sentence was later reduced. GB 4000 MOPA, high RF frequency protocol, 1930s, William Russell, new microbes in cancer cell in 1800s. Royal Rife came up with electronic device to kill microbes. 11 of his devices have been sold, or were sold before the FDA went in and destroyed his inventory. Pancreatic cancer spread so fast. Select Budwig diet and dirt cheap diet combination. Increase alkaline. 4 kinds of chemo that bind to DMSO at low dose chemo without side effects. Insulin protocol also uses low dose chemo. Dr. Jolly Gabriel, PhD, hyperbaric oxygen lab. He has mask on, receiving 100% pure oxygen, but the chamber puts the patient under pressure up to 2.5 times to create healing mechanism. So I'm wondering here, I'm looking at this thing and thinking, could you just go like on a nice trip in the Bahamas and go scuba diving and like turn up your oxygen or something and whee, no more cancer? I don't know. I mean, how do you get your pressure to 2.5 times? I'm not sure. And then the pure oxygen. But anyway, what was I going to say? Pressurized chamber makes 100% of oxygen diffused into the blood. So the pressure diffuses more oxygen into your blood. This is one of the only real treatments for radiation poisoning. You can use this to heal if you've had radiation. Oxygen's essential to sustain life. Without oxygen, cellular death can occur. Hyperbaric chamber improves healing. 90% of the time they can save a limb that had wound on it due to diabetes rather than amputating. Raise oxygen level, elevates metabolism. Cancer cells don't like oxygen. They tend to cluster to provide themselves with an anaerobic environment. I don't know where he went. He must have needed something, or he needs water maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I think I can read this, and I don't think it's too interesting actually. The next one is just a Dr. Igor Smirnov, PhD. He lives in California, and he talked about activated water and how it mitigates radiation. St. Petersburg grad of Naval Academy researched radiation after Chernobyl. Some groups did better by drinking spring mineral water. Treat water with low frequency electromagnetic, MRAT, molecular resonance effect technology. Acroproperine, maybe? I don't know, channel. Reorganize water into single linear structure to easily go into channel. 3 times faster hydration this way. Mice live 75% longer life with 50% less cancer on activated water. It inhibits cancer cell growth but doesn't negatively affect normal cells. Heavily researched technology. Introduction to Biophysics of Activated Water is the book that Ty held up that he was interested in, that the guy had there. I know I would not pay anybody for activated water. That's one thing that I don't know.
Couldn't you just activate it yourself?
Yeah, I think you should probably figure out how to do that yourself. And I mean, this guy, he lives in California in a really fancy house, selling people systems to activate their water or whatever, and just, figure it out for yourself if you want to do it. And He has enough money.
Probably.
I don't think you need to send him more
Yeah.
money in California.
No. The house would have cost a lot, and the land maybe cost more.
Dr. Robbie Mitchell, MD, Texas Tech Medical School, Proctor, maybe, from Hong Kong. So while he was working on his PhD under him, he got to learn about acupuncture and other things. They had a marriage between Oriental medicine and conventional in Hong Kong. Dr. Jonathan Wright mentored him. Learned about bioidentical hormone replacement for women, and China got to witness integrative medicine, first-hand knowledge. It's persuasive. Cancer viewed deductively, traditionally viewed as cell with damaged DNA and uncontrolled growth. People with cancer die of starvation, he says, because this cancer's eating all the sugar. Normal cell changes into cancer cell through pleomorphism. This is reversible, he says. Cancer in toxic environment by eating standard American diet. Hyperplasia in colon polyp goes into neoplastic stage and then goes on to cancer. Change internal environment by changing what you eat. It's easier to live as a normal cell through oxidative phosphorylation. Take oxygen and sugar to make 32 molecules ATP, Krebs cycle, but anaerobic metabolism only provides 2 molecules ATP. Energy levels restrictive. This is why cancer needs to eat so much sugar. If they radiate sugar, they can see where cancer cells are on CAT scan because they can see the radiated sugar. Normal fat cells are not necessarily carcinogenic. Inflammation is carcinogenic. Growth factor has an estrogenic effect, makes cells go into hyperplasia, exponential growth. Both sexes have estrogen, testosterone, but the amount differs. Women have more estrogen receptors, men have more testosterone receptors. We need to have the appropriate balance of these hormones. If you take birth control pills or estrogen environment, it increases your lifetime exposure to estrogens. He had prostate cancer. Should be looking into why PSA is elevated at 2, not 4. If it's going up, there's a problem. The doctor thought he had infection and gave him antibiotics, but PSA went up even more. So then they diagnosed cancer. Conventional therapy can get rid of lump, but conventional therapy doesn't work so well when cancer moves. And this guy was a doctor, and he was treated by another doctor, and yeah. So it's not only us nobodies who are having trouble getting diagnosed properly and whatever. Even doctors apparently have trouble with other doctors.
Yeah.
So anyway, blood cancer responds. Conventional model doesn't work when barn door opens on breast cancer, prostate. Diet to keep immune system strong. Treat for fungal overgrowth in body. Garlic is antifungal. Resveratrol. He recommends Bali eating, basic antioxidant, antifungal, low insulin eating plan. Keep fungal overgrowth from occurring. Food has to keep fungal growth under control. Eating high glycemic index promotes fungal growth. Cancer is not a fungus. The cancer cells are human cells. Gliotoxins released to incapacitate immune system. Immune system can cure you, not the treatment. Use a little chemo to bring down cell numbers, but the immune system is needed to cure you of your cancer. So he's not opposed to chemo at all either. He thinks a little might actually do some good. So anyway, so many people die of treatment, not the cancer, he says. Ruslan Isayev has a translator, and I have a hard time with the translation. Anyway, he had a 37 centimeter melanoma on his backbone, 33rd stage spreading, 7 months to live, but they still prescribed him chemo to try to prolong spirit, I guess. He got some chemo and felt very bad, but his will to live was strong. He switched to another treatment. It's the best medicine for cancer patients, he says, Rigbir. And I mean, he was very thankful for it. You could tell. He was a Chechnyan fellow. Dr. Francisco Contreras, MD, Oasis of Hope in Tijuana. Music and laughter stimulate the immune system. 1 minute of laughter boosts the immune system significantly for 24 hours. 1 minute of anger depresses the immune system for 6 hours. Children up to age 5 laugh 400 times a day. Adults laugh only 40 times a day. The most immune depressing colors are white and blue. Mauve is the immune boosting color. Is this mauve?
I'm not sure.
I think it's a little more purple than that, eh?
A little brighter. But...
Yeah. So I'm going to have to wear lots of mauve around ya. The power of life and death is in the tongue, from the Bible. I don't remember that, but victory over cancer is a decision. The power of hope is incredible. They use laetrile there and high-dose vitamin C. Vaccines, signaling transduction with foods to block the production of enzyme proteins required for the tumors to grow. Integrative therapy. Immune-stimulating therapies include a product AHCC from Japan. 25 different things in integrative approach. Dr. Irvin Sani, MD, Texas. I don't know, he was just a friend of Ty's, I think, and that's why he was on this. But he's a doctor. He's an orthopedic surgeon, and he says that the average cost of treating a cancer patient, he read, is $80,000. And he says, you know, they were talking about the scandal with the oncologist who had fraudulently treated people that did not have cancer, but he gave them false diagnosis. And anyway, so they were talking about that, I think. And he's like, well, you know, since he's an orthopedic surgeon, patients would know if he was fraudulently treating them. You know, if he diagnosed, oh yeah, your spine is, you know, they'd know, right? And so he's like, but with cancer patients, you don't necessarily know. Apparently, sometimes you feel just fine, and you go in and they're like, oh, yep, got to get out the chemo or whatever, right? So, he says the medical system's designed to get people on medication, just across the board. Because he says you're paid in the United States, I guess they're paid by the insurance companies or whatever, but you're paid the $100 whether you write them out a prescription for something and hand it to them, or actually spend like 45 minutes trying to figure out what's wrong with them or whatever. So what are you gonna do? Ayurvedic medicine's been around for 5,000 years. He says the flu vaccine's worthless, but some vaccines are very useful. And yeah, I haven't found the flu vaccine to be very good. I think
people are against vaccines should be more selective.
Yeah, just
what they go after.
And maybe avoid the flu vaccine if you don't have it. You know, if you have a compromised immune system and you're 80 years old in a retirement home, the flu vaccine might be worth your while, because what, are you going to get Alzheimer's? You know, what are you more worried about, living for the next 4 months or 4 years down the road? I don't know, right?
Well, I do. It's
yeah, that's what I think too. He takes colloidal silver. He works for Tenant Health. They don't use Cisco for food services. They hire a cook and don't allow soda in the hospital. Belly fat, aromatase converts testosterone to estrogen. He started getting testosterone injections but felt terrible, so he went off that and he did interval training instead. Interval training raises testosterone, and I mean, you're getting in shape while you're doing it, right? And so he went from, his testosterone level was 187 and he went to 600 with interval training. And he did a lot of jump rope and he changed his diet. So he looks healthy, a healthy weight now.